Hey everybody, what's up? So a thought just occurred to me. I've been doing this YouTube thing for, I guess, a little over a year at this point, and I've never shown you my card trick. Want to see it? I got just a standard unopened pack of cards here. If I can get into them. Try to keep this in the frame so there's no accusations of shenanigans going on here. This is a standard 52 count card set, and I want to double the number of cards with one swipe of my hand. Want to see it? There we go. Now, do you need to be able to do that to be a good carver? Obviously not. There are plenty of much better carvers than I am that can't do that. I can do that, and I'm a mediocre carver at best. But I do think that increasing your hand strength, no matter what age or anything that you are, increasing your hand strength will pay dividends in your carving journey. It'll keep your hands healthier, keep them free from aches and pains so that you can devote more time to carving. And it will allow you to make those bolder cuts that make a carving stand out. I was actually perusing, some Facebook group recently, and someone was asking how us YouTube carvers make these deep stop cuts. And to be honest with you, hand strength is one of those things that matters when it comes to making those deep cuts. I want to show you a couple of simple, very simple exercises that you can do pretty much anywhere today. I've gone into hand health in the past. We've discussed some exercises in the past, but I've got a couple of new ones that I'd like to share with you that won't require any kind of special equipment or a trip to the gym or anything. You can do it sitting on your couch, sitting at your dining room table like I am. Anywhere you might be, these are easy to accomplish, and all you're going to need is a little bit of water and a towel. So stick around, and I'll show you what I got in my mind. All right, so what are we going to need for these exercises? Well, you're going to need a small towel of some type, and I've actually just got a regular handkerchief bandana here. Anything small, cotton, some type of natural fiber. The thinner the material, the easier this is going to be. If you get up into like a heavy bath towel or something like that, it's going to make it much harder. So start light and progress from there. Second thing you're going to need is just a bowl full of water. And all we're going to do is dunk the towel into water, get it nice and wet. We're going to bring it out and just wring as much water out as we can, using both hands in this twisting motion. Once we wrung that water out, we just dip it right back in and go again. Now, how often should you do this? Well, for starters, if you have no exposure to any type of hand exercises, I would say once, maybe twice a week. You can do this exercise for anywhere from like 3 to 5 minutes. This isn't one that you want to give, you want to give effort on, but you're not going all out here. We're just wringing this water out and keeping going. Basically working on work capacity here. We all know that those carving sessions could get long. You know, you're spending 2-3 hours at your workbench doing repetitive movements over and over again, and that starts to wear on you after a while. This is one simple way to build up that work capacity and hand strength to help you, especially this time of year. I mean, Christmas is coming. Everybody, all us carvers know that Christmas time is our busiest time. We're carving like crazy, trying to keep up with demand, and things start to hurt after a while. Adding this in throughout the year will really help you when it gets to be this time and you are working at a maddening pace. So that's exercise 1. Exercise 2, we're going to use the same little towel, same bowl of water. We're going to dunk it back in, and all we're going to do is start from a corner. We're going to gather it up and try to wring the water out with one hand. And as we're doing this, pay attention to how your fingers move independently. So we're working on that dexterity, strength, and endurance here. Keeping those fingers moving constantly. Knock it back in and go again. Just like that. And of course, work both hands equally. This, I can't take credit for this idea. This actually comes from a man named, named John Brookfield. You should look him up. Some of the feats of strength that he's performed. He's been in the Guinness Book of World Records several times for the most card tears, most decks of cards torn in a minute, most 60 penny nails bent in half in a minute. He's actually a North Carolina guy as well, and he has just insanely strong hands, and it comes from a lifetime of coming up with these innovative and creative ideas to keep his hands healthy and strong. He's actually, I think, in his late 60s, early 70s at this point, and still going strong. So no matter what age you might be, you can benefit from adding a little bit of this to your routine. While I'm on the subject, I'm going to circle back and give you one more idea to keep those hands healthy during your carving sessions. So for our last exercise that I'm going to recommend today, conveniently all we need is the towel that we used to protect the table earlier. And of course the table to lay it out on. We're just going to spread this towel out. We're going to lay our hands flat on the table and use our fingers to slowly walk the towel back as far as we can. Again, the heavier the towel is, the thicker it is, the more difficult this is going to be, but we want to try to gather as much of that up as possible before spreading it out and starting over. One thing to note here, pay attention to how my fingers are working. I want to use each one independently, so I'm not just grabbing and squeezing and pulling back. No, I want to keep those fingers working independently, work on the dexterity there. If for some reason that you find this particular exercise too easy, and bear in mind, this is not something I'm going to do once and just quit. Like, we want to do continuous effort for a couple minutes at least. Work your way up as long as you possibly can. But if that gets to be too easy for you, the simple adjustment is to just do it one-handed. Like so. Easy peasy. Again, minimal equipment required. Guaranteed, pretty much all of you's got this in a closet somewhere. Just grab yourself a towel and go to work. So for our question this week, Dale asked how I go about selecting a project to work on. He mentions that he usually has so many thoughts running through his mind he doesn't necessarily know where to start. And Dale, to be honest with you, I think we all go through the same type of difficulty. Uh, Part of it is time dependent on me. So right now, this is leading up into the Christmas season. I'm pretty much all in on Christmas carvings, doing Santa ornaments, maybe a couple of larger figurines as time permits. But that's all I'm thinking about at the moment is different types of Santas, and I do try to mix things up, different styles and whatnot, just to break up the monotony of that. After Christmas ends, I'm pretty much going to be solely focused on getting ready for the Charlotte Woodcarvers show coming up in April. That's one of my favorite events of the year. I love entering that show. Not chasing ribbons necessarily, but just being a part of it, getting to see friends that I rarely get to see and interact with, and getting to get critiques and criticisms from some of the best caricature carvers on the planet. Once that is over, I kind of go into a lull. I don't know a lot of times what I want to do, and that's when I like to get creative, try new things, try different styles, and really step outside of my normal routine. How I go about selecting one, I have a list of different ideas, and as an idea pops in my head, a lot of times I'll jot a quick note, just as a reminder to go back and try to flesh that out later. When I get time, I'll refer back to that list and see if I can expand on any of those ideas that might be in there, and maybe try to push myself in different areas, add some motion, change up the way I do noses, or change up the way I do eyes to see if anything clicks there. But picking a piece, picking a project, really just boils down to what do you feel passionate about in the moment? What do you think that you can devote the most creative instinct and time to, and see what comes out? I do often have several projects going on simultaneously. Now, at the moment, I think I've got 4 or 5 pieces on the paint table. I've got 2 or 3 pieces in various stages of the carving process. To me, that helps me actually. It can, I can't push things too far and get too bogged down and get stuck with the paralysis by analysis thing and just get overwhelmed. But if I can jump around from one project to another, it helps with me actually managing my ADHD. I can give my mind a break, that way I'm not locked at the painting table for hours on end. I can come do something else until I get bored with that and go back to painting. Not sure if that fully answers your question, Dale. Hopefully it gives you some help and some insight there. But if you have a question, you can reach out to me on my Patreon. I'll put a link down below for that Patreon. Joining is as little as $1 a month, and if you join, you get access to all of my patterns and get the ability to ask a question that I will answer in the next video. So hope you enjoyed this shorter video. Hopefully, it gives you something to work on and helps you in the long run and become a better carver. And until next time, bye.